Security, KMS, data masking, PII protection. This is the day where AWS checks something very simple and very serious. Is your Gen AI system safe to deploy in the real world? Not probably secure, not we'll fix it later, but secure enough to survive an audit. Imagine this. A national healthcare agency builds an AI assistant. It summarizes patient notes, it answers internal questions, it helps staff find procedures quickly. Then one mistake happens. Raw patient data is logged, PII appears in prompts, encryption keys are misused. The result isn't a warning. It's legal penalties, system shutdowns, and people losing their jobs. AWS wants to know one thing. Would your design survive that moment? Let's start with the foundation, KMS. AWS Key Management Service exists to control who can encrypt and decrypt data. KMS does not store your data. It enforces trust boundaries around it. Anywhere your Gen AI system stores data, KMS should be involved. Documents in S3, embeddings in OpenSearch, cache in DynamoDB, secrets in Secrets Manager, logs in CloudWatch. If data is stored, it should be encrypted with KMS. That's not optional in regulated systems. Here's the exam-level truth about KMS. Customer-managed keys give you control. Key policies and IAM policies both matter. Least privilege applies to encryption too, and key rotation should be enabled where possible. The common trap is assuming encryption is automatic. AWS expects you to explicitly design for KMS, not assume it. Security doesn't stop at storage. Data in transit matters just as much. Client to API gateway, application to Bedrock, application to OpenSearch, application to Lambda tools. Every hop should be encrypted with TLS. And if the exam says no public internet, private connectivity, compliance requirements, the answer includes VPC endpoints, not NAT gateways, and hope. Now let's talk about the real danger. PII leaks don't usually happen because of attackers. They happen because of design mistakes, logging raw prompts, passing full identities into LLMs unnecessarily, storing unmasked chat history, embedding sensitive data permanently, returning personal information in outputs. These are the failures AWS loves to test. The fix is data masking. Data masking means removing or obfuscating sensitive fields before they reach unsafe places. Names become placeholders. IDs are partially hidden. Addresses are removed. The model still works. The risk disappears. And here's the critical part. Masking must happen before prompting the model, logging requests, and storing long-term memory. You never rely on the model to behave. Temperature is not a security control. Prompts are not a security control. Masking is. Consider this. Instead of sending John Smith, born 1983, has condition X, you send patient Dodak has condition X. The assistant still summarizes correctly, but no personal data is exposed. That's real security. PII protection in Gen AI systems follows 4 rules. First, minimize data. Only send what the model actually needs. AWS calls this data minimization. Second, detect sensitive data. Use rules, patterns, or classifiers before prompting, logging, or storing. Third, separate identity from content. Store identifiers securely. Send content without identity to the model. Fourth, use guardrails to prevent unsafe output. Guardrails stop bad responses. They do not encrypt data. Different tools, different jobs. Memory deserves special attention. Storing full conversations with PII and embeddings is dangerous. Embeddings are hard to delete and hard to audit. The correct pattern is simple. Mask before embedding. Store references separately. Apply retention limits. AWS exams love the phrase, avoid storing sensitive data in embeddings, because it shows you understand permanence. Now think about audits. AWS expects you to mention encrypted logs, restricted access, audit trails, retention policies, CloudWatch logs encrypted with KMS, CloudTrail tracking key usage, IAM access analyzer to catch overreach. This is how systems pass reviews. There are classic exam traps here, using prompts to ask the model not to leak data, lowering temperature for security, encrypting only production data, storing everything and cleaning later. All of these fail audits. Security must be enforced before the model sees the data. Here's the mental map you should always carry. User input enters. PII is detected and masked. Prompts are constructed safely. The model is invoked. Guardrails check outputs. Logs are written without PII and encrypted with KMS. That flow alone answers most security questions. Lock this sentence into memory. Mask before prompting, encrypt before storing, log without PII. If you remember that, day 26 is solved. Final self-test. A GenAI system logs full prompts, including customer names and IDs. What is the correct fix? Apply data masking before logging and encrypt logs using KMS. That's not just an exam answer. That's how you keep the system alive.